Okay, volume and surface area. Day one, talking about prisms and cylinders. So our question today is, how do we calculate volume and surface area for prisms and cylinders? So volume and surface area for prisms, which are three-dimensional shapes that have a base that's just raised up, and then cylinders, the same thing, it's just that it's a can. So we start with the idea that a prism is a three-dimensional shape with two identical ends, and then it has flat sides. The shape of each base, as we call them, that's the end, gives the prism its name. Rectangular prisms are called cuboids. So you'll see them referred to as both rectangular prisms and cuboids. The sides are parallelograms. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot one. The cross section is the same all along the lengths. The sides are parallelograms. Four-sided shapes with opposite sides parallel. Usually rectangles, sometimes squares. Rectangles. So we have a couple pictures of prisms, even though this second one is really weird looking. It's like a kidney bean kind of shape. The top and the bottom, or the bases or ends, are the same shape, and then it is raised up. So to find the volume of prisms and cylinders, we do the area of the base. Notice it's a capital letter times the height, where A equals area of base. You will either have to calculate that or it will be given to you. And H equals the height or the distance between, that's an abbreviation, the ends. To find surface area of the same thing, cuboids and prisms and cylinders, surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. So again, A equals area of the base, P equals the perimeter of the base, and H is the height or the distance between bases. So in this first picture, here's our base. And again, like I said in the second picture, this kidney bean looking shape. So because that's such a weird shape, you would be given that area, and then you'd multiply it times the height. And you would be given the perimeter, and you would be able to figure out both the surface area and the volume of those shapes. So let's look at this first example. This is a rectangular prism. And to find the volume, first, because we're asked to find the volume and the surface area, volume equals the area of the base times the height. The area of the base is, I'm going to use this as my base. It doesn't matter which one I use, but I'm going to use that as my base. So that's 3.4 times 8.4. So that's the area times the height, which is 13.9. Now in grade school, you learned volume equals length times width times height. This is the same idea. It's just that we simplify it because I can use the area of the base for almost any three-dimensional shape. So when I multiply all those together, I get 396.98 inches cubed. Now, inches cubed is a three-dimensional measurement. We want to use cubed whenever we do things like that. So then we have to find surface area. And remember that if this is the base that we're using, then this is 3.4, and 8.4. So that's my base. So that's where I get my area of 28.56. And then if I need the perimeter, which I need for surface area, then I just add them all up and get the perimeter is 23.6 inches. Remember, that's a two-dimensional measurement, so it doesn't have, or one-dimensional, so it's got no exponent here. So then to find surface area, that is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the base times the height. So 2 times the area of the base is 28.56 plus the perimeter, which was 23.6, times the height. So that's this number here of 13.9. So we get up that our surface area is, when you multiply all those numbers together, .16 inches squared. Because it has to do with area, that's why we have a squared measurement. All right. So rectangular prisms and cuboids are really simple. You just plug those numbers in. Cylinders take a little bit more work, but not a lot. A cylinder is a solid three-dimensional object with 2 identical flat ends. That are either circles or ellipse. I'm going to say circular instead of circles. And that just means oval in shape. And they have one curved side. So there are, again, formulas for solving for the volume and the surface area of a cylinder. Volume is pi r squared h, where r is the radius and h is the height. And for surface area, I get 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. And radius and height work for both parts of this. So let's do a couple of examples. So for the first one, this is my radius. I can see that that's the radius of the circle, and 47 is the height. So volume equals pi r squared h. That's pi times 25 squared times 47, which is 92,284.28 feet cubed. Don't forget that that needs to be cubed. For surface area for that same shape, it still has a formula, so I'm just going to plug it in. That's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, 2 pi 25 squared plus 2 pi times 25 times 47, and that equals 11,309.73 feet squared. Again, that's area, so that's squared. For the last one, this number is the diameter. That means I need to know that my radius is 3.8 or half of that number. So volume, pi r squared h, here's my h, pi times 3.8 squared times 7.2 equals 326.63 feet cubed. And surface area, same formula, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh, 2 pi 3.8 squared plus 2 pi 3.8 times 7.2 gives me a surface area of 262.64 feet squared. And there you have volume and surface area for rectangular prisms, sometimes called cuboids, and cylinders.